Veganism is a lifestyle in which people try to avoid using animal products. This includes meat, eggs, dairy, and other animal byproducts. The vegan lifestyle has many benefits for the environment. One of the most significant is that it helps cut down on greenhouse gas emissions because it doesn't cause any pollution from livestock farming. It also helps reduce deforestation by cutting down on the need for grazing land and animal feed crops. What are the benefits of being a vegan? Veganism can help people maintain a healthy weight, reduce their risk of developing chronic diseases, and provide them with plenty of nutrients. Veganism is a way of life that rejects the use of animal products in personal care, food, clothing, and transportation. There is no one set of vegan beliefs or practices. Veganism is a way of living that seeks to minimize the exploitation and cruelty caused by using animals for food as well as other purposes such as clothing. Vegans have many reasons for their lifestyle, including love of animals and compassion for all living beings, who are sometimes subject to mistreatment at the hands of humans. The strictest definition is a philosophy and way of living which seeks to exclude all forms of exploitation of and cruelty to animals. If you have something to say about the climate, like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any video that comes out. And without further ado, here is the list. 10 proven ways that being a vegan is helping the environment. The environmental impact of the meat industry is enormous. It takes up to 20,000 gallons of water to produce 1 pound of beef. It also produces a lot of greenhouse gas emissions, which contributes to climate change. Here are 10 ways that being a vegan is helping the environment. A vegan diet reduces your carbon footprint immensely. Greenhouse gases, GHG, are harmful gases emitted into the atmosphere, contributing to global warming. The high levels of carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide entering the atmosphere are severely dangerous. It is estimated that livestock account for about 3.1 gigatons of methane a year. According to Greenpeace, 5.8% of GHGs, 14.5% of total human GHG emissions. According to the UN Food and Agriculture Organization, that's more than the global transport industry combined. Adopting a plant-based lifestyle is one of the simplest and effective ways to reduce your footprint of GHG. A vegan diet uses less water than a meat-based diet. A plant-based lifestyle is one of the most effective ways to save water, as plant foods require a hell of a lot less water compared to animal products. To put this into perspective, 1 kilogram of beef requires a whopping 15,500 liters of water to produce. Tomato and potato production requires much less water, at 180 and 250 liters respectively. Switching to vegetable-based diets can save thousands of liters just in one person's lifetime. A large percentage of animal feed for European animals is actually grown with the water supply that is necessary to grow crops in developing countries. This lack of water means less food for local communities and ecosystems. Cut down on water waste by switching to a plant-based diet. There would be more water left over to share with those who really need it. Plants support cleaner waterways. Rivers and streams are not only home to an abundance of fish and water life, they're also sources of water and food for other wildlife and humans. Not to mention wild swimming spots and natural water sources for multi-day trips. So it sucks that natural waterways are being polluted by chemicals and antibiotics from livestock feed. In the USA, 46% of rivers and streams are in a biologically poor condition as a result of nutrient pollution. This is caused by animal excrements and chemicals running from cornfields used to feed livestock into waterways. Ditching fish reduces pressure on overfished oceans. We all know it's been a while since Seaspiracy came out, but you should know that it was incredibly important. Not only was the documentary hard-hitting, but it showed another side of fishing that often doesn't get touched on. I definitely recommend giving it a watch, even if you caught the initial hype around it. 90% of populations are considered fully fished, meaning any further fishing will cause a population decline, which can then lead to extinction. On top of reducing the population of fish, overfishing has a huge knock-on effect on the whole marine ecosystem. Species like bluefin tuna have declined by 97%, which has caused imbalances in the food chain and changed the behavior of the remaining fish. This is the same with sharks, who are nearly being hunted to extinction, and many other species that are integral to marine environments. Veganism promotes cleaner soil. Intense farming and deforestation have had a ruinous impact on soil. It can cause erosion, which can end up leaving the land useless for farming and often incapable of sheltering other forms of nature. Agriculture is unfortunately the leading cause of soil erosion, and meat consumption holds a particular burden in this area. However, plant crops are also responsible for noticeable amounts of erosion. Larger land areas are needed for livestock. In addition to the calorie deficiency of the meat, animal poop and urine also speeds up soil damage. Soil erosion is bad for more than just the land. It will gradually destroy the plants, wildlife, and fields that make up the beautiful outdoor places. Trails and fields will become increasingly scarce until they are lost forever. The production of meat exposes to losing forests, soil erosion, and biodiversity. Jungles, a sensory overload of dense vegetation, humidity, vibrant colors, and teeming wildlife that drown out all other noises. The whole environment moves in harmony as life thrives in this symbiotic paradise. That's probably the image most people have when they think of rainforests. But surprisingly, rainforests are actually being destroyed at an extremely alarming rate, at a rate of 800,000 acres a day. If we want to appreciate them now, before they disappear forever, we need to take action now. There's estimated to be about 20% of the Amazon rainforest that has been degraded by human activity, with 80% of the degradation happening due to cattle farming. The deforestation contributes with 340 million tons of carbon being released into the atmosphere every year, altering wildlife and biodiversity. After beef, the second biggest driver of deforestation is soy. It is not only tofu that vegans are eating, many carnivores choose to eat it as well. In fact, 75% soy grown worldwide is being fed to animals in the food industry. When you consider that almost all these animals are in caloric deficit, we have to feed the livestock more calories than they will ever produce once butchered. It makes a lot of sense that veganism is the right choice. More on this later. Raising a cow requires 11x the amount of resources to produce a plant-based protein. This is for all the people who think that the best way to get protein is in meat. The meat industry is notoriously inefficient. A recent study showed that for every 1 pound of beef produced, 11 pounds of plant-based protein could be produced. This is just one example of how the meat industry is harmful to the environment and inefficient. The production of animal products is one of the leading causes for species extinction because of the emission of greenhouse gases and other pollutants. The production process also requires large amounts of land and water to produce these goods, which means that people who need these resources cannot access them anymore. We should be aware that the production process is not only harmful to animals but also humans too, because they can cause us serious health issues like obesity and heart disease. Going vegan reduces energy consumption. Our livestock farm's large energy footprint is a concern. It's important that we consider the impact of the farm's outer environment. For example, what kind of climate is prevalent there? How much electricity does it require, and how can this be reduced? Animal-based protein may use up to 8 times more fossil fuel energy than plant-based proteins. All of the gas they produce is harmful to the environment. They are estimated to emit 8 times more GHG than plant-based sources, and those fossil fuels are running out at a tremendous rate. The main concern with animal-based protein is the environmental impact that meat production has on the planet. Avoid animal products to combat world hunger. Livestock production is symptomatic of how the world has turned a blind eye to its dwindling natural reserves. It bloats land, water, fuel, and food resources across the globe. 36% of calories produced by the world's crops are used to feed livestock, whilst only 12% of these calories are consumed by humans. This means that more calories are used to produce livestock than are given back to us, in a world where many people are starving. Which seems completely crazy when you think about it. Livestock production is a major cause of pollution and water depletion, according to the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization. In addition to this, livestock production accounts for about 70% of water withdrawal in some parts of the world. This is because in order to produce more food for humans, cattle producers have had to turn down the groundwater levels. Conclusion: can a plant-based diet help the environment? A plant-based diet is a healthy choice for the environment as well as for ourselves. It also helps reduce our carbon footprint which is a major contributor to climate change. A vegan diet is rich in fiber, protein, vitamins, and minerals. It typically comprises less saturated fat and cholesterol than an average diet, which is good for the heart. A plant-based diet doesn't have to be difficult and expensive to maintain. There are many vegan-friendly foods that are actually quite cheap, such as nuts, beans, and lentils.